וקדש שמי רבה, למד, דברה חזותי, ועמליק מלכותי, חייכון, ומכון אחד לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן, וישמרה במורח לעולם. ברך, משתבח, מפאר, ותרומה, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתעלה, שמי קדושה, בריחו, לילה, מכל ברכתה, משיבתה, שפתה ונחמתה, דמירם ועלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרב המשמיים לכם עלינו, וכל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ואמרו מארי, עושה שלום עלינו, וכל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Good evening, everyone. There is a striking insight that the Mefarshim discuss regarding this parsha of Korah, the incident of Korah. We see Moshe Rabbeinu here in a completely different light than we have seen him before. He always was a great defender of the Jewish people. He was always patient and tolerant of his critics. He always represented, so to speak, the Jewish people in heaven, even against the criticism of heaven. He certainly is not vindictive. And here he appears, he says, in Bria Yivra, if there was a creation that was created to swallow Korach and his people whole, so if there was not such a creation, Yivra, let it be created now. And the fierceness of his opposition, the harsh words that he uses, and in the incident itself, we see that Moshe attempted to compromise with them, at least have a discussion with them. He said to Datan and Aviram, come, let's talk. They said, well, now, no, we're not, it's beyond discussion. So why is Moshe so zealous here? And he says, for instance, Aaron, what are you complaining about Aaron? So the Mefarshim point out here that this is the only incident that we find where Moshe has no support whatsoever from anyone else. No one stands up for him. In the story of the Meraglim, it says, Vayahas Kolev Esohom al Moshe. Kolev stood up to defend Moshe against the Meraglim. In all the other incidents, the Sanhedrin is with him, the Shechina is with him. Moshe never appears alone. Aaron is with him. Here, no one says a word. At least the Torah doesn't record it for us. No one rises to the defense of Moshe. No one says, "Oh, how can you rebel against Moshe? He split the Red Sea, he brought the Torah, he brings down the Mon every day." What are you talking about? No one said a word. Moshe is alone. And because of the fact that he realizes that Korach cannot triumph, because if he does, then it's pure anarchy in the Jewish people. And because he realizes that the motives of Korach and Dosan Ba'amira, as I discussed with you yesterday, are base, they're different. It's a group that has no unity together except in its viciousness against Moshe. So Moshe demands that heaven should stand up for him. And therefore he says, Ibrio Yivra. Let the Rebbeinu Shalom create. Now, the Pirkei Avos teaches us that it was created in massive ratios. The Oretz, that the earth has a mouth, so to speak, that opens. So they were standing on quicksand. Any way you want to look at it. But Moshe demands that heaven should intercede. Because in essence, heaven is his only ally. He has no one here that stands up for him. Now, Chazal point out many times that people, as long as they think that somehow they can take care of the problem, it's within their purview of skills to be able to arrive at a solution. But people don't turn bad. People really don't pray until the doctor says you can't do anything about it. It's human nature. The nature is that somehow we feel that we can take care of ourselves. We don't need heaven. But there comes a moment when human beings realize that it's beyond their purview to help. They have no one that can help. But then, by force and by nature, then they turn bad. We say a posting every day, Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach Ba'Hashem, Voya Hashem Yiftacho. So what does that mean? It's a repetition. Baruch HaGever, blessed is the man, the person who trusts in God. Voya Hashem Yiftacho. And God is the source of the fact that he is trusted. So the Farshim explained that what is said in that posuk that the Novi said, Yirmiyahu, Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach B'Hashem. Blessed is the person who has always faith in God, who always trusts in God, even when he has so-called abilities to extricate himself. He doesn't feel that he is bereft of God's help, that it's unnecessary. Then there is, there are situations in life when only God can help. Only when I trust in God can I have any salvation or any way to accomplish. So Moshe is the example of that here. And all the other Moshes Moshe's trust and faith is unquestioned. But in all the other cases, Moshe has allies. He has support. He has people that are with him. He has the Sanhedrin. What happened to the 70 people? Nobody stands up for him. They all stand around and watch. It's a contest between Korach and Moshe. They want to see who's going to win. Therefore, Moshe publicly demands that heaven, so to speak, interfere on his side, intervene. Create a situation where everyone will say that Moshe was right. And that's what Chazal meant, for instance, says that Bnei Korach lo meisu. The sons of Korach did not die. So we can interpret that positively or negatively. Rabbi Yosef used to joke that when there were the constant disputes within the Jewish people, so he used to say, B'nai Korach lo meisu. Korach isn't here, but his residue is still here. But Chazal saw it otherwise. B'nai Korach lo meisu was a positive thing. The children of Korach did not die. And that's why the Torah will mention it later. So it says, Rashi quotes it, Mokom Mizbatzra Lahem. It was a place that they were able to save themselves. And they say, Moshe Emes v'Toroso Emes. V'anachnu b'adaim, and we're the liars. So Moshe wants to bring that to the fore, that there should be no doubt. Now, if the sons of Korach would have disappeared, if they wouldn't say it, so then you would say, somehow Moshe got lucky, whatever. But he has to have them say Moshe Emes v'Toroso Emes. Has to admit that Moshe is the one that's correct here. And Rabbi Soloveitchik wrote a famous essay, it's a book called The Lonely Man of Faith. Meaning that a person that has emunah, that has faith, is always lonely. He lives in a world of unfaithfulness. He lives alma de shikra, false world. And therefore, he's lonely in this world. But of faith, if he has faith, so then he's not lonely. And that's Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach Hashem, V'Hoyo Hashem Yiftacho. But that's a level of greatness that is not easy to achieve. It has to be reinforced daily in all of the manners in life that we think that we are controlling. We have to be able to see that we're not really able to do anything without the aid of the Almighty. And that therefore, that's the ultimate lesson of the story of Korach and Moshe. The ultimate lesson that the lonely man of faith is not really lonely. That it is faith that guides him through all problems. Rabbi Hanania ben Akashi Omer Rotz HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'zako says Yisrael Leficha Chir B'lahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemar Enecha Teich Go.